Hi, my name is Stephanie Anderson, and I am a foodie for Jesus. So I just got back from being gone for a few days on a mini spring break trip with my son and my two boys and had a wonderful time. And, it's interesting being on a vacation. So oftentimes it's associated with foods and consuming things we normally wouldn't, or larger quantities of things than maybe we normally would. Oftentimes it's you know, the rules or the boundaries that we normally have might not apply when we're on vacation. I know that's typically how it is with me with food. And sometimes, in fact, on vacations, it's when I'm thinking about maybe starting a diet or starting something new. But in the moment, I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy all this food or whatever. So this trip was kind of a combination of the two because I was, as I'm in this working on getting out of the ditch and as I'm making progress and hitting plateaus and maybe sliding back a little bit and making some more progress, it's just been this journey. I have had moments of right where I absolutely have that structure, right? And I have been consistent with not eating the sugar, with not getting on the scale, with not drinking alcohol, with not, watching things that are streaming, doing these things that I am giving up again related to this Lenten season that we're in as well. But there are also things that I've been indulging in, and then where I figured out kind of ways to maybe bend the rules a little bit. And some of that has come in the form of eating some foods that are maybe borderline or not having as much structure around mealtime or the parameters around snacking, things like that. And there's kind of a few things that are related that I'm going to talk to you about that my eyes were open to and that I've been also contemplating. And really they're anchored around what discipline looks like and how God disciplines us, right, as his children and what this looks like and how this fits into this crazy food journey that I'm on and what I've been experiencing. So when we think of discipline, sometimes they get compared to or even confused with punishment, but they are distinct. They are distinctly different. So in the case of God, right, when we've accepted Christ, our punishment, right, we are washed clean. We all deserve hell because we are all sinners. But that free gift of salvation through Christ, our punishment, he's taken the punishment for us, right? We deserve a penalty and he has taken that for us. And that's why it's a gift, but yet we have to receive that, right? But that's the punishment piece of it. Punishment is hell. Okay, so then what is discipline? Because sometimes they're equated to be the same things, and sometimes they're even used interchangeably, right? Discipline, I like to think of it as more of that learning, that teaching, that, and when you think of it in the context of a parent and a child, what that looks like, there still could be consequences. But what I have been really contemplating is what does discipline look like from God? So I understand the punishment stuff. I understand we deserve hell, understand all of that. But what does discipline look like? And I really landed on two things. And this I'm sure may change and grow as I pray into this more, as I spend more time talking to people. I know my husband and I talked about it for a while, and then I also talked to a friend of mine about it, and then just really contemplating it. And so the two things are one is that sometimes discipline comes in the form of just the natural consequences of our actions, right? And what we learn from that, and the Lord allowing those things to happen so we learn from that. So, an example, a very relevant example related to food, is on Monday, or Sunday. Do you ever get your dates confused on when you're on vacation? I think it was Sunday. It was St. Patrick's Day, which I believe was Sunday. Yes, it was Sunday because we went to church and we found this Irish restaurant and I had a rich meal. It was, I would say it was borderline with some of the things. There were some fries, there was some fried food. Um, but there wasn't sugar, there wasn't, we didn't have any alcohol. I didn't, like the main boundaries were there. And then we went back to the hotel And we had like cheese, we had some other things, and it was just a lot of heavy stuff. And then on top of that, this was probably the kind of the I don't know, the icing on the cake, or the thing that kind of put me over the edge probably the most, is I had a can of Zevia, so naturally sweetened, but it was root beer. So it was all that carbonation. So I had all of this rich food and then this highly carbonated beverage on top of it. And I had the worst pain, a really sharp pain, abdominal pain. And was up for quite a while, just not feeling well. And just my body was telling me, it was like running, I was experiencing the consequences of the food decisions that I had made. And as I was doing that, I was also realizing, like, I had my appendix out a few months ago. And as I'm, up and like looking on my phone and researching different things, and recognizing where my pain is, I was like, oh, this is kind of an area of my gallbladder. And wow, I don't, I was just in for a surgery 3 months ago. I don't want to, go in, have to now then have to do something with my gallbladder, like thinking through the ramifications of what I ate and those natural consequences. And it was just that wake up call, right? I was learning from that. It was also that reminder of taking care of my body. It was also that reminder of what's important to me, right? And my preference, if I can do something within my control, related to, um, the path that, a doctor might recommend for me, depending upon if these symptoms were to persist. So there was the natural consequences to that. So that's part of it, like the Lord allowing those things to happen, because He has control to do anything, right? He could relieve those, right? But there are these natural consequences. And in this case, I did need them. I needed to experience those. Now, the second way that I see discipline from the Lord, and this is my perspective. So I want to just be clear. This is not, yes, I've read up from different perspectives on some ministers and all of that, but this is mine. I am just a Bible girl who wants to study and learn as much as I can, but I'm not perfect and I'm not an expert. And so I just encourage you to look into this yourself and see if it means the same thing, something different to you, or if you find other resources. But the other thing, in addition to like kind of discipline through just experiencing the natural consequences, is what we learn in our time with the Lord, right? When we spend, how it's actually like when we confess to Him and spend time, and we're invited into His throne room. That's what's so amazing as believers in Christ. Like we are welcome into His throne room and can have fellowship and interaction with Him. And as we're spending time directly in prayer, confessing, right? Like, I did not take good care of my body. Those were not good decisions, is what we learn from that. And what the Lord reveals to us through His word in the Bible, as well as during our time in prayer. So that also can be a form of discipline in a sense, because the more that as I've been reflecting on this, as I've been talking with people about it, as I've been praying about it, and also as I'm reading the Bible, it's amazing where I'm seeing the relevance of different passages related to this. So I just want to encourage you. This today might have been felt a little bit like a bowl of spaghetti with all sorts of stuff tangled up in different ideas and thoughts, but I really just want to encourage you, the two things, right? Just pray and spend time in the Word, and just continue that first and foremost, right? And to God be all of the glory and honor of everything, whether it be where areas where I have successes, or what I learn and how I grow as a believer in Christ and as a person through this loving discipline that we receive from the Lord. So thank you so much for joining today. I look forward to next time.